An agreement between South Africa and India is seeing 12 of our cheetahs being sent to the South Asian nation. The move is aimed at reintroducing the species in India after excessive hunting led to the extinction in the 1950s. The big cats' new home will be in the Kuno National Park in central India. For more on this, I'm joined by KV Prashad, who's the former editor of The Hindu. Thank you so much for your time. KV, we do appreciate it. I actually covered the story yesterday where we were in Limpopo, a province here in South Africa, where the cheetahs were darted and then transported to the airport, and they have apparently safely arrived in India. Just tell us some more.
Well, thank you for the big cat's gift that is right from South Africa, and thank you for having me on ENC. Good afternoon to all your viewers. Well, the cheetahs arrived safe and sound. They arrived early this morning, and as we speak, they have been transported to the Kuno National Park from nearby airlift on helicopters by the Indian Air Force. So the idea is, as you are aware, is to allow these cheetahs to stay in a guarded enclosure where over the next few days they'll be gradually monitored because the conservation authorities, the Tiger Conservation Authority in India, as also the experts and the veterinarians and the South African team which came along, all together will kind of, and by I think 2 days from now, they're having a workshop wherein so that everybody on the same page. And these big cats are looked after well before they are actually released into the national habitats over the next few months. That's the way it is. Thank you.
Yes, maybe we could just speak about the concerns around releasing these big cats into the national park in India, because it's on a completely different continent. It's an African cheetah. It's not an Asian cheetah that ordinarily would have been in India. And there are just a bit of some concerns that these cheetahs might not acclimatize to this. And we've also been told that because of the stress that they've been put under, there might be one or two that don't make it.
Well, as of now, the news that we can share is the first part. If you're aware that around September of last year, the first batch of cheetahs arrived from the continent of Africa, to be particular from Namibia. And those 8 cats have been released from the first enclosure to the second enclosure, where they're actually on their own and preying and are actually hunting and going about their task. And they seem, so far all the reports suggest, have taken well to the new environment and new climatic condition. Much of it, the conservationists tell us, the identification of this park, the particular grassland was selected with a lot of care to kind of give the cheetahs an atmosphere which is quite similar to what they're used to. Having said that, yes, these are African cheetahs and they're not the Asian cheetahs. And India, as you rightly said, it was in 1952 that the cheetah went extinct. So the conservationists and the environmentalists are very concerned that this translocation should do well. As we get updates on this, so far the updates are the cheetahs which arrived from South Africa have been safely transported to the Kuno National Park. And 20th, as I said, was the workshop. The concerns do exist, but as I said, these are precious gifts for India. And the Indian environmentalist, the Indian Tiger Conservation Authority is putting its best foot forward to ensure. In the first phase, I think all of these cats will be collared, radio tagged, so that the movements and everything is very closely observed.
Yes. Just one last question from our side. We do understand that there has been a memorandum of understanding and agreement between South Africa and India, that this will not be the first batch that will be handed over or delivered to India from South Africa. And this has a lot to do with the excess cheetahs that we have here in South Africa. But it seems as though this agreement is going to continue possibly for the next 5 years.
Yes, I think the agreement terms around 10 to 12 cats to be transferred to India over a phase of next 5 years, as you rightly mentioned. And more the merrier and welcome for us, because India is looking for meta population of cheetahs, once a home to the Asiatic cheetahs. And thanks to South Africa, they've agreed to share their feline population to come back. And India is looking in a big way because, one, reintroduction of cheetahs, and in this particular area, the government of India over the next few years, as these cheetahs settle in and their population goes up, the idea is to also encourage tourism. And the best thing is reflects the great bonding of India-South Africa friendship.
Certainly, we'll just have to wait and see how these 12 cats acclimatize, because it's obviously a very stressful process for them. And hopefully I'll come to India and see how they're doing. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate that. Is KV Prasad, who is the former editor of The Hindu.